So, you've beaten Majora's Mask on the Switch, collected each of the 4 masks, stopped the creepy looking moon from falling, and confronted the demon-possessed Skull Kid. Well, now what? Well, there's actually a lot of other things than just beating the game you can do, and if you are like me and you just can't seem to leave a Zelda file alone without 100%ing it, this might be the video for you. One thing you can do is start collecting each and every mask that is obtainable in Majora's Mask. This Zelda game has a total of 20 masks, each with different ways to obtain them, and also allow Link to do a lot of different things when you wear them. One of the most useful masks in the game is the bunny hood, and you can actually snag this pretty early on in Majora's Mask if you know how to do it. Here's a quick guide on how to do it. Simply go to the laundry pool during either the first or second night in Clock Town, and once you arrive, you will see a very familiar face sitting on the bench near the wall. Listen to his very peculiar story to receive the Bremen mask. Once you obtain this mask, you can literally go straight to Romani Ranch to enter the building all the way towards the back called the Cuckoo Shack. By the way, if you get to Milk Road and you notice one of the Carpenter brothers swinging an axe at a rock all the way at the end of the road, simply play the song of Double Time to the final day, and the guy will finally be done taking care of the boulder blocking the way, allowing you to proceed to the Cuckoo Shack. Once in the shack, in the center of this area is a pale, extremely pale dude with a spiked mohawk named Grog. If you have the Bremen mask, put it on, then hold the B button to play the cool tune on the ocarina as you march around. Touch the baby cuckoos to make them follow after you. Scour the area in search of the other ones, touching all of them to add them to your troop. This process is actually very lengthy and pretty annoying if I am being completely honest. Don't let go of B or you'll have to gather them all up again. Look carefully and try to catch up to them before they go through the triangles and some of the walls, which can be pretty frustrating. Once you've gathered all 10, they'll start bursting and blossoming into full-grown cuckoos. Keep holding B. Once all 10 have matured, they'll cockle-doodle-doo together. You'll appear next to Grog, who will glance around and chuckle. He thanks you and gives you the bunny hood in reward, perhaps one of the most useful masks in the entire game. Although it's very ugly in my opinion. I wish they could have did something different with the design. But no worries, Zelda crew. Not all of the masks in the game are this tedious to get. Let me know in the comments below this video if you'd like to see a guide, maybe on where to find all other 19 masks. You can also snag every piece of heart and complete Link's full health meter, which is a total of 20 hearts, and you will need 52 pieces of heart in order to achieve this goal. Man, you'd have to be absolutely insane to be willing to accomplish this. It's all good, man. I'm insane too, because I do it with every Zelda game. You can upgrade your wallet while you're at it. This will allow you to carry more rupees throughout your quest. Link can upgrade his wallet to the adult wallet by collecting 200 rupees and then donating them to the banker in West Clocktown. A super easy way to get the rupees is to go over to one of the bomber kids with the yellow bandana, where he's standing near the route that takes you to the Astral Observatory. From there, run south and climb the steps. Just run straight ahead, and Link will jump over the gap and grab the ledge on the other side. You actually might have to roll before you jump in order to make the jump. Then stand against the wall and continue running southward, where Link will automatically jump over the post against the wall. Once you make it across the final gap, circle around to find a treasure chest that contains a silver rupee, which is worth 100 in Majora's Mask. It's very easy to snag. Just make sure that before you reset time, you just deposit any rupees that you might have, and over time you will hit the 200 rupee mark with ease. This is also reoccurring, so every time that you reset time and set time back to the first day, this silver rupee that is worth 100 rupees will respawn every time, so keep this in mind. This will then give you the adult's wallet when you go back to the banker and you have at least 200 rupees in the bank. You can then get the giant's wallet, which holds 500 rupees, by completing the Oceanside Skeletal House. If you're up for it, tackle one of the best side quests in the game, the Anju and Kafei quest. This is also one of the longest quests in the entire Zelda series, but man is it worth it. This quest spans over the 3 days you are allowed and involves most of the NPCs that you encounter throughout your adventure. It's also worth mentioning, Zelda crew, that if you are going to collect all 20 masks, this side quest is something you have to do, as this quest rewards you with at least 4 out of the 20 masks that are required for 100% completion. You can also upgrade your sword. I mean, who wants to walk around slaying enemies with a butter knife, right? In order to get the final form of the Kokiri sword in Majora's Mask, the Gilded Sword, which looks absolutely stunning, I might add, you need to follow a couple steps. I do want to mention that crafting the sword is easier done if you have completed the Snowhead Temple and then saved. First things first, make sure you defeat the boss of the Snowhead Temple so that the spring finally comes to Goron Village. Second, you need some gold dust, which is obtained by winning the Goron race, which also needs to be done on the first day or night. Next step in the process of obtaining the precious is to forge your Kokiri sword into the Razor Sword, which you will need at least 100 rupees for. The Razor Sword does look pretty cool, however, after 100 slashes, it'll break. Finally, the last step in the process is to make sure you hit that like button on this video down below, then forge the Razor Sword into the Gilded Sword, baby, which you need the gold dust for. This sword is easily, in my opinion, one of the coolest looking swords in Majora's Mask, if not all Legend of Zelda games, and once you get it, you'll realize that it was completely worth the trouble you went through to get it. Another goodie you can collect to achieve 100% completion is to get all the bottles in the game. There are a total of 6 if you're playing the Nintendo Switch Online version, and 7 in the 3DS version of the game. You can complete the Keaton Quiz. The Keaton Quiz is a short minigame found in Majora's Mask, and it involves answering questions about the game asked by the yellow fox-like animal, Keaton. After Link obtains the Keaton mask, disturbing the Keaton's moving grass while wearing it will initiate the quiz. It's honestly a pretty cool quiz that tests your knowledge of the game overall. It is time to rescue our noble steed from the clutches of evil, or get her back from the ranch. In order to reclaim Epona, you have to complete the minigame that the little girl pitches. No worries, it's really easy. If you can complete the minigame in under 2 minutes, Romani will reward you with a song that is most likely familiar to you. Epona's song, which will allow you to summon Epona whenever you want. Another thing you can do is explore the Skulltula houses. In Majora's Mask, there are 2 houses for you to explore. One of them is in the swamp area called the Swamp Spider House. The other is located in the Great Bay area called the Oceanside Spider House. This isn't crucial, however, you do need to complete the Oceanside Spider House in order to get the Giant's Wallet, and if you are a fan of collecting all of the gold Skulltulas in Ocarina of Time, trust me, you are going to have a crazy nostalgia kick here for sure. You can snag all of the stray fairies in each of the 4 temples in Majora's Mask as well. Depending on what version of the game you are playing, the NSO or the 3DS version, the locations of each fairy will differ slightly, but not too much though. In the Woodfall Temple, there are 15 stray fairies for you to search and find. The reward for this is, in the 3DS version, there is an upgrade for your magic meter, doubling its size. If you're playing the NSO version, the reward will be an enhancement to your spin ability. The Snowhead Temple has 15 fairies as well. If you collect all of them, NSO players will get the magic meter increase, and the 3DS players will get the spin attack upgrade. The Great Bay Temple has 15 stray fairies as well, and if you do decide to collect all of them as you progress through the dungeon, regardless of which version you are playing, you will get the defense buff that was in Ocarina of Time, where enemies only do half damage. The last temple, the Stone Tower Temple, the best one, yes, you guessed it, 15 stray fairies, and if you get them all, your reward will be the Great Fairy Sword. I don't think this sword is as cool looking as the Gilded Sword as we talked about earlier, but it has its strengths, I guess. It's also worth noting that this sword takes up an item slot, meaning that you have to equip it sort of like you would your bow or your hookshot. The sword does massive damage, however, the caveat to that is its swinging motion is really awkward, if you will, and it has a really hard time hitting enemies like Keese, for example. Time to get the best looking mask of them all. One mask to rule them all. The Fierce Deity mask is hands down the most powerful mask in the entire game. In order to get this mask, you have to collect all of the other 20 masks in the game and then give them to the children right before you start the final boss fight with Majora. Yes, after all of that hard work of collecting the masks throughout the game, you just quite simply give them away. Now, while the Fierce Deity mask is the most powerful, it's also the worst in a sense, because you can only use the mask in boss battles, which is totally lame, in my opinion. Like, come on, Nintendo. Let's roam Termina wearing the mask or something, right? Like, come on. And hey, listen, if not most of these things you can potentially do during your playthrough and achieve 100% completion that way too. And honestly, this is my preferred way to play a Zelda game. You don't necessarily have to do these things post-game, which is worth mentioning. There is actually something even more amazing about Majora's Mask that you need to know in order to fully appreciate Majora's Mask. And in this video right here, I go over in detail one of the most memorable moments in the entire Zelda series.